So there is the villain. Actually, that's my pepper tree, my California pepper tree. They're beautiful trees. I love them. I don't like taking them out, so we haven't taken them out. That was a tree we almost lost, but when Gary brought in the wood chips a few years ago, the tree just took off. I mean, it's huge now, but it can be an issue and it can be a problem. Let me see if I can walk around and show you what's going on. And let me see if you can understand how far that tree is. That tree is down there. And what it's done is it has sent roots into my garden. That's what pepper trees do. A lot of different trees do that. Pine trees do that. And here is the issue. When it gets into my garden, it finds even my containers. And look at this. This is live pepper tree root. How do you know it? I just scraped it and smelled it, and it smells like pepper. Look at that. This is all live. Look at this. Now, this particular container is when I first started gardening. I had Gary put the holes on the very bottom. Now, mind you, it's not like it doesn't have a bottom. It's got a bottom. It's got very small holes on the bottom. He drilled a whole bunch of holes for me. But what that pepper tree does, because I was composting in here, it said, wow, this is great. I'm coming in here and I'm going to feed on this. And it sent all its roots in here, and it will suck water out of here when I water. And mind you, look how far it is. It's way out there, but it sends the roots underneath my papaya trees, underneath that bottle brush, underneath the moringa tree, comes right through, under the wood chips, underneath this tub, and brought its roots up. So for me, I am no longer going to be putting anything, and not my big tubs, with holes on the bottom. I'm going to make sure, and I've been doing it, that all my tubs, all my container gardening, my new container, I'm growing stuff in the ground. I'm growing celery that I just stepped on while I was working in the garden. But I mean, I do grow in the ground. But all my containers that I'm setting up in the garden, I'm going to make sure, because of the pepper tree, and we do have pine trees out front, that the holes are at least an inch from the bottom. See, this should have had holes an inch from the bottom. And the reason is, your earthworms, your critters, microbes, everything can get into these tubs. All my containers, they can get in. There's not a problem with that at all. But if the holes were not on the bottom, and they were just an inch from the bottom, that pepper tree cannot send his roots there. Because for I don't know if it's him or her, for that pepper tree to get into a container, it would have to go out of the ground and then go through the holes on the bottom. You know, like these holes here. I don't know if you can see that. I think you can. See the holes that are not on the bottom? You could go a little bit lower if you want. They can't do that. There is no way that they can come up and climb up. And the reason is that would be air pruning. It would automatically, when it comes to the surface, the roots would be pruned. So if you're having an issue with trees in your yard, now, I love Paul Gauci. I've spoken to him. I'm crazy about him. And he says everybody lives in harmony together. And that's true. I mean, I am growing a lot of plants. But sometimes it doesn't work out because we're in a very dry area where he's damp. He gets rain. We do not. So when that pepper tree, which is massive now, is looking for water, it's going to get it wherever it can. And the hillside there is really not being watered, so it's coming into my garden. But with these containers and the holes just above the bottom, it cannot get in there. It can get water from underneath because there'll always be some dampness underneath, and so it will send the roots under the container, but it can't get into it, so it can't disrupt, you know, the growth of any of my plants or suck the nutrients out of my compost. So for now on, just for my containers, all the holes will be above. They will not be underneath. It will be like that one. They'll be just above the ground. It doesn't matter if there's a little water. Don't worry about it. It's not going to hurt anything. It's actually very good for your plants. They'll never run out of water that way, as long as you water. And even if it over rains and pours, it's still going to drain out through those holes on the, just above the bottom. So that was just a tip I wanted to give you, an idea to think about if you're having problems. I've heard people tell me they can't grow a garden because they're in a forest, there's too many trees. These containers are the best thing. I love them. Yes, I've got a collard here in the ground, and that's fine. But you have more control sometimes with containers. You could do both. I do both. So I just wanted to give you a tip on that, and just show you how fascinating that all these roots coming in here. I see, it's really hard. I hope I'm not shaking the camera too much because I'm doing this. One hand has a camera and one hand has an old shovel. Look at this. This is all pepper tree roots. So while my zucchini and my celery and different things were growing in here, my pepper tree was feeding off of all that. Did they grow? Yes, but I think the zucchini and everything would have been happier if the pepper tree didn't come in here and invade. I mean, this is, look at that. It's just, you can't even pull it out because it's coming through the little holes on the bottom. What it will do is it will come in really fine. Think about it. It will come in real fine and make it through the hole, and then it will get thicker as it grows. When it comes through the bottom, it'll just get thicker, so you'll have bigger roots inside than what's coming through the hole, but these are their feeder roots. So again, remember, if you put the holes just above, you won't have invaders of trees coming in because they cannot possibly do it. The moment it would touch air, it's called air pruning, the roots would die, so there's no way you wouldn't do it. So that's my tip of the day today. And now I got to get the pepper tree roots out. And there's not much I can do about this container. I'm going to have to deal with it because there already is holes on the bottom. I mean, I could have Gary lift it and put a piece of wood or plastic underneath. I mean, that would be a way to get rid of it and drill holes on the side. But to be honest, I'm going to leave this one. I'm just going to use some of that soil right now to fill up some of my containers. I need a little bit of soil in there. And then I'm going to just start composting in place, do the same thing, and may that pepper tree enjoy it all year again with whatever I decide to plant in this container. So I just thought I'd share that with you. I'm working in the garden. I thought, oh, this is neat. I should talk about this. I've had some questions about this. So have a great day, and don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and if you don't want to, that's fine too. Have a great day. Bye-bye.